Welcome to episode 48 of Discovering Nagasaki from a Local. My name is Chad. In my ongoing weekly vlogs, you can experience everyday life in this scenic and fascinating part of Japan. This week, Kathy Garrett, Daniel Hazen, and Denise Rollheiser were the first three people to correctly answer both of last week's vlog questions. Thank you for answering my challenging questions. The first question from last week was, if you include the agodashi, how many types of seafood did I use in the sara udon dish I prepared? The answer is 4 types of seafood. The second question from last week was, in what year was the current version of Hirado Castle built? The answer is 1962. I noticed an error in last week's vlog after I uploaded it to YouTube. In episode 47, I said that Hirado was in the northeastern section of Nagasaki Prefecture. Hirado is actually on the northwestern coast of Nagasaki Prefecture. In today's vlog, I will show you how to bake organic spinach buns using spinach from our garden. I will also give you a short tour of Nagasaki's Naganobashi and 2 nearby shopping arcades. Let's get started. Now that rainy season has come to an end here in Japan, the temperature inside our bakery has risen sharply. That's why we need to use this window-mounted air conditioner. To make a regular batch of organic spinach buns, I will use 740 grams of regular flour, 80 grams of grated and boiled spinach from our garden, 240 grams of water, 70 grams of organic yeast, 24 grams of butter, 24 grams of skimmed milk powder, 11 grams of salt, and 70 grams of sugar. I will mix these ingredients for about 8 minutes in this mixing bowl, and then allow the bread dough to rise at room temperature until it fills this container. In the proofer, I'm now waiting for the dough to rise in these cinnamon rolls, these carrot buns, these walnut rye loaves, and these fruit buns. Organic bread like this needs to undergo 2 rising periods before it is baked in the oven. After the first rising period, this is what the dough for the spinach buns looks like. Now I have to weigh out the dough portions. The dough portion for this bread is 38 grams. I'll use a dough scraper and an electronic scale to weigh out the first dough portion. Just a bit more should do it. The next step is to form each dough portion into a round bun. As is the case with all the other buns that we make, I need to use my thumb to round off the top portion of this bun. In order to hide any creases, I will pinch them off on the bottom side of the bun. Then I'll place the bun on this silicone sheet and repeat the process for the remaining dough sections. Now that I have formed all the dough sections and sprayed them with water, I will put this tray in the proofer for about 2 hours at around 40 degrees Celsius. It will be the second rising period for this dough. The dough is now ready to take out of the proofer. As you can see, the buns have risen considerably in the proofer over the past 2 hours. Before I put this tray in the oven, I will spray the buns with water one more time. This will help the buns to brown evenly in the oven. These buns will now bake in the oven at around 200 degrees Celsius for about 16 minutes. Now that the buns are in the oven, I'll start the timer. The oven timer is about to ring. I'll turn it off before it wakes up my neighbors. Notice the black bug zapper hanging next to the oven. We leave it running 24/7 in this bakery. And here is the finished product. Kitsune Iro, or fox-colored organic spinach buns. Now they have to cool down before we package them up and deliver them to market. Healthy, delicious, and not that difficult to make. This is what a bag of our 5 spinach buns look like. As you can see, we are waiting for some other bread to cool off on this counter. Here are some walnut rye loaves, some cinnamon rolls without icing sugar, some fruit buns, and some pumpkin buns. We make spinach buns once every few weeks, but these other 4 types of bread we make every week. I'm now walking along Nakashima River in downtown Nagasaki. The Uoichi Bridge is on my left. You can see the river below. Downstream you can see Nagasaki's Spectacles Bridge, Meganibashi. And at the bottom of the stairs below, you can see several people feeding carp in Nakashima River. This is a view of Uoichi Bridge from the bottom of those stairs. If you walk from here towards Meganibashi, you can find one of Nagasaki's famous heartstones. I already showed you the ones at Lover Garden in episode 14 and Inasa Mountain in episode 46. You can see how close this heartstone is to Meganibashi. Next to Meganibashi, there is a steep set of stairs on my left, leading up. There are about 40 other stone bridges which span the Nakashima River. A flood along this river in 1982 destroyed many of Nakashima River's bridges, including this one. Most of the stones for these bridges were eventually located downstream and catalogued. Using previous photos as a guide, these bridges were meticulously reconstructed after the disaster. 299 people died in that particular flood. I'll show you the view from the top of Meganibashi. This bridge is in Uonomachi, a short walk from Nagasaki's Hamanomachi shopping arcade. Downstream is Fukuto Bridge and further on Nagasaki Harbor. Upstream you can see another view of Uoichi Bridge. Down below you can see the coins that people have thrown on the bridge stay for good luck. I will take you down the street on my right to show you a nearby market street. First I'll cross this narrow road next to Meganibashi and head up Togiya Street toward the Alcor Market Street, which is about a block from here, on this side of that beige apartment building. This narrow pedestrian street has an interesting selection of small shops and restaurants. Some of them are shuttered up, but most of them are open. Like this restaurant and card shop. The street continues on for several blocks. In spite of the pandemic restrictions, it still has quite a bit of foot traffic. On my right is a pharmacy, and on my left is a Family Mart convenience store. Next to that is a clothes store and ice cream shop. Up ahead on the left is a dermatology clinic and a diabetic supply store. Outside the clinic, a local vendor is selling dried fish, bonito, shrimp, squid, and iriko. On the other side of the street are several small restaurants. This one on my left serves tonkatsu. They all seem to be open and there are quite a few customers inside. This restaurant on my left is actually a steakhouse. From here you can see the All-Core Market sign above, and on the other side of the street ahead is Nagasaki's Hamanomachi Shopping Arcade. This is a covered shopping street with more than 700 shops and restaurants. It is locally referred to as Hamanmachi, and it was built about 75 years ago around Nagasaki's largest department store, Hamaya. This market is made up of two long perpendicular streets that cross in the distance. Up ahead next to this ABC footwear store is where the shopping streets intersect. There are tram stations outside just up ahead, and also at the end of this shopping street on my right. I'll take you in the opposite direction to show you the department store that was built here just after the atomic bombing of Nagasaki, Hamaya Department Store. On my right is the 10-story Hamaya Department Store. There's a Teishoku restaurant on the 8th floor and a basement food floor in this large department store. From the intersection of the shopping streets, it's a short walk to the Shiden or tram stations ahead. Next to this bag store on my left is a hair salon, a Kentucky Fried Chicken outlet, and a Teishoku restaurant. On my right is a cafe, and across from it is an Able real estate outlet. This leg of Hamanomachi Shopping Arcade ends just up ahead. Here is an organic food shop, and right beside it is Bunmeido store. This store sells castella, one of Nagasaki's 3 most popular foods. Castella is a Portuguese sponge cake that was introduced to Nagasaki more than 4 centuries ago. Ahead you can see the tram rails in the middle of Harusame Street. And now for this week's challenging questions. First, how many spinach buns did I bake in today's baking demo? Second, how many people were feeding carp beside Uoichi Bridge in today's vlog? Be the first to correctly answer both of these questions in the comments section below. I will announce the first 3 people who do so at the beginning of episode 49. You can find a complete list of the contents of my vlog episodes on the Facebook link listed below. And you can watch all of my vlog episodes on my online YouTube playlist. Today's B-roll involved baking, so in episode 49, my B-roll will involve farming. Stay tuned for more interesting vlogs from and about Nagasaki. See you next week.